lost forever. Like TV shows that never got taped, or movies that there weren't that many physical copies and it was never aired on TV and no one bothered uploading it. Like how many things are just like, just gone.
Yeah.
What was it when we were trying to do that?
Like the original D&D, gone. I think Gygax came up with it. People are bullshitting around
the Arneson Blackmore shit.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like middle of the Dark Ages, and you got nothing to do. You think people didn't come up with role playing?
Well,
I think if you've got enough time on your hands.
Well, I mean, but yeah, I think role playing back then was more of like, let's do a fun like parlor sort of theater thing, and then what it became was a bunch of greasy wargaming nerds going, no, let's role play with this, baby. Let's role play with numbers.
Getting stabbed at the table for people not liking your idea is still game mechanics.
It's true. It's diegetic.
Yeah, okay.
It's diegetic. It is something that it's like you're not thinking about. It's the mechanics are fitting the narrative. It's emergent play.
Yeah.
If I stab you in real life with a real knife, then your character's not going to get what they want because you can't control your character because you've been stabbed.
Yeah. The knife has its own stats.
Game mechanics. The knife has its own stats. The game mechanics have been around, since cavemen are hitting each other in the heads with rocks. It's in this game called Life, baby.
Yep.
It's all mechanics in this game called Life.
Yep.
So I looked this up earlier.
Why does the downtime take so long then? Whose idea was that?
I don't know, but it sucks. I want my life to be a constant cornucopia of stimulation and good vibes.
Yeah.
Because when we were looking up, we were trying to do that before I got the podcast idea.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about the silent film thing.
Yeah, that was an idea.
Yeah. But it was, I remember looking it up before, but half of all American films before 1950 and over 90% of films before 1929 are lost forever.
Yep.
Oh my God, that fucking sucks.
That's what made the project actually unapproachable is everything that would have been easily found. There's a plethora of stuff that is references, titles and stuff that's under fair use because of copyright.
Yeah.
It's in public domain. There's no details on who directed it, where it was filmed.
You get reviews in newspapers we found.
Yeah.
And that's it? Like, it's
that's
been wiped.
It was like, hey, it's a cool film.
Or sometimes you get a weird story about how it was filmed and how everything came together, and then it like catches fire, and that was like the only copies.
Yep.
And then it references, it's like one other copy was known to have been made. It was bought, and no one knows who the owner is.
I'm glad electronic archiving became a thing.
Yeah.
Because up until now, it was like Library of Alexandria, fucking gone. All these silent films, because there was like a big like film factory fire or something. I think it was that resulted in there was a film. I forget which one it is, but there's like no existing copies of it anymore because it was burned.
No.
It's one of the original ones with the bullet going into the moon or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about that in Hugo. Mm-hmm. Man, that was a weird. Yeah, I got that out of nowhere. But like, I think there was this big fire, and I think that was responsible for a lot of the films that are missing now.
Well, like modern philosophy is a lot pinned up by Islamic scholars because
they're the ones who actually archive shit.
No, because during the Christian age of Rome, or after that, they destroyed a lot of pagan stuff, including a lot of early philosophers.
Yeah.
And so Islamic scholars actually started liking Plato and Aristotle because they retranslate them. So what we have now is the retranslated stuff, a lot of it. I think there is some stuff we found later, but a lot of it's actually retranslated from Arabic back into the Greek, or they had the recopies.
That's fucking crazy.
So we would actually totally forgotten about Plato except for Islamic scholars.
That's the other thing that would be so cool about archival stuff is like tracing something back like that.
Yeah.
Like, this Greek work that everybody knows, the only version that we had to like translate off of was in Arabic.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's like you would never see that coming.
Well, I mean, there's also there's a slightly cool element because that movie, The Visitor, that I was talking about, it was released in 1979 in Italy. However, there hasn't been an official English release of it until 2010, 2013.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're having movies that are still kind of being unearthed and reinterpreted to be released modernly today.
That cares,
like digitally remastered,
or straight to DVD.
Or they just redo it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There's
it
tons
is
of
cool
books too.
Yeah.
Like bad Islamic stuff. I've been trying to look up like Islamic and Arabic scholars at the time. They still haven't translated a lot of that stuff. Or there's really like one translator, or really rough
Oh
translators.
shit! So it's like there's stuff that we could have these incredible works of like art or history or something we have no idea
Not
because no one's
English.
bothered to translate
Yeah.
it yet.
Well,
you
that
know?
overall,
Yeah, not in English, I mean, but-
like I have the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they're still being translated because they're so really hard to read.
Well,
Well-
that begs the question too. It's like how many things that are old enough that nobody contemporary in the world would be able to like figure it out.
a lot.
Yeah,
A
that we
lot.
just haven't bothered to do yet. you know?
Because I've been watching Esoterica about like occult of the past.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, yeah, please, can we have more esoteric scholars? Because there is, in the Vatican, there's tons of books they don't know about. Tons. Because they archived them.
Man.
And so he's like, please, we need more people to do that. Because, like, the Vatican's like, do you know what you're doing? Yeah? Come on in. Like, they're not like, oh, what's that? Nowadays, they're just like, we have tons of books. We don't even know.
No idea what the fuck any of these mean.
Because there was
Yeah.
another, there's another book of John we didn't know. Not like new, but they just had another book of John they didn't know because the scholar came in and was like, hey, that's the book of John. And they just didn't know because the Vatican just doesn't. There's like tons of esoteric material they didn't have. You'd be amazing about how much in the world is like, you just need a dedicated person to just translate one object.
Yeah. It makes
Tons
you,
of things.
It makes you wonder, like
Movies, like you were saying.
You hear that question that's been going around, is like whether there's more doors or more wheels in the world.
Never heard that.
Well, I'll get to that in a second, but it's like okay. There's this question
Okay.
that you just ask it. It's like, are there more doors or more wheels in the world? And at first you think like, oh well, it's wheels because it's like, you know, tires on a car or something. But then we're also talking doors as in like, you know, doors on doll houses, or like, you know, does the lid of a mailbox count? Or and it eventually devolves into a whole fucking thing. And it's been making the rounds recently.
Guns or dildos? Which one is there more of?
Guns.
Oh.
Guns. Undoubtedly.
Well, here's the thing, because it's like, yeah, you have all the nations of the world, and they have their armies, and they have their guns and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But like
But
dildos, there's like a lot of fucking people who
and
really want a dildo.
dildos have been a historical
Well,
thing
They've
for
been
a long
around
time.
for longer than
If-
guns.
So
They've been around for-
if
I've
you're
seen
saying-
stone dildos.
If you're
yeah.
saying they have to be completely working order, then dildos. But if it's like, if it's literally just like between all the wars of mass manufacturing, there's more guns.
well, but now we mass manufacture dildos arguably faster, and they're cheaper.
I would say it's
have you
faster.
ever walked into a Fascinations before? Have you ever
Yeah.
walked into a sex shop before?
I only run.
It is.
yeah, you gotta dash in there. Already have your mind set on what you're grabbing and get to the counter as fast as you can.
behind the counter of Fascinations, it's like middle of the night. They're looking out the window at the parking lot. They see you coming. You're sprinting like off of the road, and you're just like,
You know,
sprinting through the parking lot. It's like, do I run?
You know,
do I let him in?
if there's
Like, what do I
if
do?
there was one place in the world
I'd be
that
scared.
needed self checkout, it's that.
Sex store?
Probably that.
No, 100%.
I think it's too easy to steal.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
100%.
allow that.
It is.
It is, but-
is. Dude,
People are weird. They would just steal in weird ways.
yeah, but like,
I haven't been to those actually.
I've walked. You go walk into a sex store, and there is like fucking. That's like the main product. It's like there's so many.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
like the one store.
I don't doubt it.
It's like, but what I'm saying is like, because yeah, of course you go to a gun show and there's fuckloads of guns, or you go to like, you know, there's like, you know, like during the Cold War they made so many fucking like
Yeah.
AKs and shit. They're still like selling them and shit like that. But then like at the same time, it's a fuckload of dildos.
But
I
even
mean-
even at a gun show, statistically, there will be a few dildos in the room.
Yeah, there would be. I mean,
that's a great. That is a
but-
fucking awesome.
but what's the
point.
average-
It's like out of 500 people, one of them is gonna have a dildo on their person. And you gotta find out which one it is.
Yeah.
You're sitting there at the gun show. People are passing by. You're trying to guess who's got the dildo. in
I
their
guess
jacket.
in my vision, it's like there's an average of what someone has a couple of guns, or there's a gun fanatic that has like 15, 30. They just love guns. And they just have that. And while
Yeah.
I don't know the average dildo people have.
Well, but the same thing applies. Is a lot of people.
I wouldn't know that.
Think of it like this. I think it's almost equivalent, because think of it like this. You have, you know, a lot of people who don't own guns. You have a lot of people who own one gun for self-defense, and you have gun nuts who own a bunch. You have a lot of people who don't own dildos. A lot of people who own one dildo, and then dildo nuts who have a lot of fucking dildos.
Yeah.
I've seen those collections. It's fucking
How
insane.
much
'cause
are they? How
I
many do
mean,
you see?
It's just like anything that if you're a giant collector of, you're dumping thousands of dollars
So
into it.
but then it goes back to
And now they're a tax write-off because it could be your business.
Guns or dildos?
Guns. No, sorry, no, dildos.
dildos.
Sorry.
Guns can be, but yeah, dildos. No. Like, so I mean, at that point, it's just a collector's thing. Like they're not even using it.
Well, yes, they are, but like, it's like an RPG collection too. You know, I use my shit.
Like
I use my RPG stuff. I use my
rocket
books.
propelled grenades.
Yeah, that's the best kind of dildo.
RPGs?
Rocket propelled.
Yeah, but I mean, you could obviously use a dildo.
Look,
use it once and you get it. But if it's that many,
what I'm trying to illustrate is if it's trying to be like if we're trying to compare it like in terms of like who's like as a collector's item, it's gonna be tough because guns and dildos are both very ubiquitous things to have and to collect.
I mean, Europe, I guess, doesn't have that many guns compared to like at least the U.S. So
Well,
that's more. Dildos
yeah, but
than
they still
guns.
have a lot for like their military, and
Right.
Shit like
All right.
Probably
All right.
more.
Sex toy called the Pearl Royal is the most expensive dildo known in the world.
How much?
Okay.
The vibrator costs $1.3 million and is made to order,
It's probably
involving
gold or
white
something.
gold, platinum bejeweled
Yeah,
with
it's
pink
literally-
and white diamonds.
How
It's
does
just
that
status.
even improve the fucking?
It doesn't. It's just status.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I was gonna say,
It's
like
like getting
you
a gold
buy,
phone.
you buy like a couple $100 dildo, like made of the finest fucking silicone. You know, and you get some real good lube and shit like that, and that's gonna be great. What's gold gonna do for you?
It's like getting a golden
know.
phone.
You know, I was
Is it gonna
I was
change?
expecting like the
Yeah.
highest price to be somewhere in the thousands, maybe tens of thousands.
not $1 million.
I
That
wasn't
blew-
expecting
yeah,
$1 million.
That blew it out of my water.
See, that's the thing. You're getting status instead of usefulness. Like, yeah, $1,000 useful one probably is really nice.
There's expensive gold-plated guns too. You know?
Yeah, cartel
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
But again, when you get the gold plated, you're literally using out usefulness. It's just status. Same with the dildo. That dildo is literally all status.
And we're also
Yeah.
we're not comparing also just the entire military industrial complex assortment of armaments. We're not.
And
we're,
dildos.
we're talking about guns in terms of the regular consumerist
Well,
market.
no. We're talking about all guns. When
I don't
we're
know
talking
what you
about-
mean.
well,
If you
no,
can
so-
take on the
so this-
entire military industrial complex with
But
dildos.
the sex I'm saying the sex industry, the porn industry alone makes kabillions of dollars. You know how many dildos they probably fucking buy?
I don't know if
Like-
it's just the military. 30
Yeah,
billion.
but what I'm saying is like a lot of the military industrial complex stuff will be things like jets too and missiles and stuff, and not guns. So
no, I agree. I'm talking about household stuff.
Well, I'm saying is the doors and wheels question. It's literally, is there more doors in the world? Hard stop, just doors,
You'd have to get the
or
hard
more
definition.
wheels.
Wheels are easier to define than doors.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because wheel is
yeah.
a circle thing that can spin. Not that it is spinning, but it can spin.
Dildos are more easy
A
to
door-
define than guns.
A door is like
Yeah.
what?
Dildos
Are
dildos are easier to find than guns. They're easier to get than guns.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, no, yeah, obviously. I'm not arguing with that. What was I doing? No,
I'm sorry, I totally fucking bowled over you. We're talking
no,
about
no. I was saying
defining
if you're
wheels,
defining
yeah.
a door,
Yeah.
what defines a door? A wheel's easier. But like dildo, obviously, I mean, is there going to be a giant cannon dildo? Guns, we
Yeah.
can just define as like handgun, and like I think RPG is a bit much, but it's
No,
still a
see,
gun.
there's way too many classifications because
Yeah.
it's so.
Is artillery
there's
guns
a
because they're bigger?
massive gradient between
Maybe,
armaments,
actually.
whereas the only gradient between dildos is pretty much their size and what's attached to them, probably.
right.
Yeah.
But then you've got but that
There's
also
giant ones too.
I think that there's like fucking literally I saw one
In person?
Yes, in person.
Oh,
it was
wow.
it's a silicone cast of just a garden gnome intended for
A full
insertion.
gnome?
It's literally in like a blister pack, and it's just this fucking giant like just red opaque silicone gnome, and you're just expected to shove that up your ass.
You know,
and I'm like,
everything
that's
takes work.
hilarious.
You know, you gotta have
There's
to grind.
Yeah, but that's a dildo, you know. Like dildo, are we talking? Anal beads might be dildos because the
No,
thing about the
no.
is it not?
It's
It
not.
has to be penis shaped.
Yeah, it has to be penis
I feel
shaped.
like that's more specific. Well, just anal beads are a classification. I mean, you said it yourself. You're not saying dildo anal beads. You're saying anal beads.
Well,
So
but
you're
then I
already
would be
classifying
saying,
it.
but then arguably I'd be saying insertables if I meant like everything.
I would. Agree
Well,
with
then
the
you'd have to
insertable
start including
argument.
fruit, and we're not going to get into
Cucumbers,
all. Yeah,
carrots,
Yeah, but
if we
dragon
include
fruit,
we're
pineapple,
that's
we're
funny
all.
because I could
Yeah.
say commercially.
Yeah.
commercially made, but then fruit is obviously. But you could
Actually,
easily,
it's mostly vegetables, isn't
you
it?
could distinct
Wait, you're gonna use a
edible,
banana?
edible, not for use, and
Depends on how
for
ripe it is.
specifically that use.
Yeah.
You could easily, and even if someone carves it themselves, there is still a clear indication of a fruit and the use of a dildo. There's very clear indications of it.
Can you? Yeah. No, you're right. And that's the thing is, I think the thing about this question, I think the thing that makes it fun is, first of all, you think doors are wheels. That seems obvious. Oh wait, it's not obvious, and it always ends up being semantic.
A fist fight.
But it's yeah, fist fight. But I think it's interesting semantics. It leads to a bunch of different conversations. Is an interesting question. Can you imagine trying to shove like a 3-day-old tomato in your ass?
No.
3-day-old?
Like, but that's tomatoes. Are we saying that's a fruit or a vegetable? Because we're saying
Fruit,
your thesis
technically.
was that vegetables are easier to put in your ass than fruit, right?
Well, actually, if it's 3 days old, it'd probably be pretty mushy.
Yeah, that's my
Is
point.
3-year-old that
But that's a
much?
vegetable.
Not that
Is tomato
much.
a vegetable?
It's a fruit.
No,
technically.
it's a fruit.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a fruit.
Oh, that's
Because
holds
the
up.
way it's how
Yeah.
it's made.
Hypothesis holds up.
Yeah.
Well, you could do both. I guess fruit's harder, right?
No, vegetables are usually harder.
No,
'Cause
easier.
They got the
Cucumbers and
plant
stuff.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're made shaped for that, like a banana and cucumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a fruit's a lot harder.
A,
It's like,
a banana would actually, yeah, a banana would really suck.
well, you open it up, I assume.
No.
It's too mushy.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
too
that would
freeze
be-
it. You freeze it.
Freeze the frozen banana.
There you go.
That,
Warm it
that
up.
would work.
There you go.
Probably,
that would.
huh?
That
You
would.
could freeze it and mold it, I guess, if you really want
Yeah,
to.
you could mold it in any shape you want.
You could
You can add
Like
barbs.
banana.
bury it
and
and get it
ridges.
petrified. I don't know.
Oh my god. Dig out like a century banana. It's like a century egg.
Yeah.
And then you pull it out, and it's like with the express purpose of engaging in intercourse with it.
That makes sense. I
No,
mean,
it
they
doesn't.
they literally make trees. They used to like spend a long time making trees just for bows.
Petrified wood and shit like that.
No, like they would bend it so it could literally fit a bow.
yeah.
So I mean, people spending time on stuff doesn't surprise me. It literally, like I don't even know how long those trees took, but it probably took like at least a couple years, almost a decade to make this specific type of.
They'd
tree.
have to start way the
Yeah.
fuck ahead of time.
and they're just constantly churning them. They're like, here's the section for this many, this section for this many.
Yeah, you'd walk up to some architect today that like built some amazing thing back then. It's like, how'd you build this? Well, I just kept stacking rocks for like every single day for years. What have you done? Oh, I beat Elden Ring 4 times. You want to see my character? And then the architect would be like, wow, man, I've just been stacking rocks. How the hell did you do this?
Well, what about the? There's the guy who literally he spent like his entire life pickaxing through a mountain.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that floats around the internet every once in a while.
that is
Like his entire life, he never got help for it. He did it himself.
I love the idea of comparing people's life's work negatively to beating a video game.
Yeah.
Like to say, man, you wasted so much time just putting up dumbass logs and shit. I'm over here at fucking 5D chess, fucking big brain beating video games. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's where like the master of everything, the master of none, kind of comes.
Yeah.
from. Spend your life doing one thing instead of being good at a lot of different things.
yeah.
Just not perfect.
Specialist.
Pretty good.
There was when I saw Dragon Force a couple weeks ago, there was or I guess just a week ago, there was a music video for Strangers. Is their track, and like half of it is like them dressed up really shitty like 80s hair metal artists doing a VHS like fucking music video, and the other half it's in an arcade, and there's this dude who skullet, huge, like fucking sweating through his shirt, wearing a leather jacket, and this really hot chick comes in. And she's like, like fucking into him because he can play video games really well. So he's like fucking killing her on the cabinet. And then he'll like sweep back his vest and like look at her and like run his fucking hands through his hair and over his body. She's like,
True.
yes, oh my god. So it's just like, yeah, there's nothing sexier than a guy who can play video games, really well. Beat Elden Rings 4 times. Just fucking. What's your
number?
You think his donkey said that?
Huh?
The donkey video.
Yeah,
where
he
said
did
he
that.
played it 4 times
Yeah.
somehow. But I mean, he plays games all his life, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's kind of his job.
it is kind of his job.
Yeah, he plays
Wouldn't that be
games.
cool if your job was just to like? We already talk about pro DMing. We already talk about like
A
fucking
tiny bit.
fucking paying
Maybe for an hour.
I don't remember. anything that happens on this
Yeah,
podcast.
we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, me fucking neither. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, we have a little bit.
We have
yeah.
a
This
little
is
bit,
this
yeah.
is this is why podcasts like hire other people to like focus on continuity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna focus on it.
I don't know who does that.
I literally have no idea. Like,
That's a good question.
Who would do that? Makes no sense.
it would be for like
Lots of people.
ones that actually have like formats.
Yeah.
Or, like money.
Well,
or-
contingency means not repeating yourself and picking different topics.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
so let's do that.
not remembering everything, but picking different topics. Like, yeah, mystical.
Okay, you said continuity. You said contingency. It's continuity. I just want to make sure it's important. It's important to me that you know it's continuity.
No, that's when like you can't shit yourself right or something.
Yeah, consternation.
Consternation. That's it.
Consternation?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Constantinople?
The place. What are you confused
What?
about?
Oh, I was thinking incontinence.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
incontination.
Yeah, my favorite, my favorite, fucking city, incontinence
Incontinence
in
my
modern
city.
day Turkey. Yeah, incontinence.
That's what it's named after. Because they couldn't breach the walls.
Are you saying incontinence derives from Constantinople?
I'm gonna take incontinence and I'm gonna make that a mechanic in my game.
Oh, just shitting yourself?
Well, because it has two meanings: lack of voluntary control over urination or defecation,
That's the funny one.
or lack of self-restraint.
Yeah, that's good, but
That
if you
makes
put it
sense.
in there, you might want to say something like no filter or something like that, like
Yeah.
filter instead of saying like, because people are gonna see incontinence and go, oh no, there goes Casey putting his fetishes in the game again.
True.
I
Varieties
want
everywhere.
to. He watched the whole reason he made
No,
this
it's in-
game is
it's
he watched
incontinence.
Seinfeld and was like, how crazy would it be if Kramer shat himself? Haha, wouldn't that be funny?
It's incontinence because it's you losing your shit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
No, you won
it's
me
his
back.
theme.
You won me
Social
That's
incontinence.
his
Yeah.
theme, yeah.
back. You won me back.
Yeah.
You don't seem very impressed, man.
Just saying, it's his theme.
Dude, speaking of changing topics, speaking of incongruous, you know, speaking of
That's correct.
Uh,
We've been saying that.
we've been saying that the whole time. All I have to do is do quick write-ups of the major NPCs, and track marks is done. The artists
nice.
who I mean I have to do. I'm gonna be generating content and stuff. That's gonna be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
I thought I have the artist lined up, so I'm gonna have to drop money on that. But like it's full speed ahead, baby.
Nice.
It's exciting.
Nice.
I'm gonna
Cool.
pretty much commit myself to like doing nothing but that for a while.
So tomorrow?
I think.
Dropping it tomorrow?
Huh?
You're dropping it tomorrow then?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
Are we
okay.
playing Star Trek tomorrow?
No. We'll do something else.
You want to play Dark Tower?
No.
What do you want to do?
Maybe play Dark Tower?
That would be great.
Maybe. Unless I have my system ready.
No way. Are you that close?
I'm real close, yeah.
At least to test it.
Yep.
Just so he can start figuring out the kinks.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I just
Wow,
I just
shit.
built the entire skill aptitude matrix.
Oh wow. Okay.
And was able to successfully fill in at least one task for every combination of aptitude and skill.
That's a lot of work. You're doing a lot of like let me tell you, like yours is definitely involving a lot more work than mine. Yeah, holy shit. That's pretty cool.
Is it?
I was going to do starting packages and stuff for mine like Into the Odd usually does, but I just fucking gave up and it would have looked something like that. And I looked at I looked at that and I was like, "No, I'm good. No, fuck that. This beer is fucking getting me."
Really?
This just shows me
This is
I had to
making me
make
burpy.
sure that all the aptitudes and all the domains actually worked.
No,
correctly.
it looks really good, dude. Like your stuff is extremely 2D20 is a lot more technical.
Yeah.
Curb D20 is going to be a lot more what did I just say? Technical than mine is. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm literally running mine on Into the Odd. Most of it's lore. Most of it has been writing a bunch of stuff and then getting rid of 90% of it just to have the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have like almost 300 pages, 400 pages worth of stuff I'm not using. And the
Wow.
final product before the content is going to be like 25 pages.
What if you just
I've gotten rid
publish
of a
it and
ton of
say,
shit.
this is the original, this is the major stuff you need to know, and all this other stuff is just for fun. Or call it bloopers. Just call it bloopers.
Yeah, call it bloopers.
bloopers.
400 pages of bloopers.
I've gotten well.
You know, an expansion for Curb would be good. It's called bloopers.
That would be good. I do like that. Make it like the more shit you come up with, you can just throw in another book. Just have a chapter per shit that you're thinking of. Like, we came up with this mechanic. We're not sure if we're going to use it or not, but I'm going to throw it in the side book or whatever. Yeah. What we need to do, because mine's table ready like now.
Yeah.
I could run track marks tomorrow.
I see.
But if you run, it's your house, so if you run Curb, then obviously you have priority.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, think about it.
Think about it.
I'll think about it.
And then what needs to happen is Matt needs to play each of our games and then decide which one's better.
Yeah. He is an unbiased party, of course.
Completely unbiased.
Pretty much.
Him just shitting all over one of us would just make content. That's all it would. But it has to be only one of us.
Yeah.
You have to pick favorites. You have to like one of us and dislike the other.
It'd be like, right when you start, you said that word. You said it fine. I just didn't like how you said it. And then it'll be like, yeah, the next scene, I wasn't in it, so 0.
Oh, yeah. I that's true. It's like,
where's the man?
What would the I'm not sure what the rubric would be, but I know I won't be able to understand it or gain insight from.
Oh,
gain
my
insight
rubric?
into it. Yeah, I don't know what your rubric would be.
It would change your life.
Would it change my life? Yeah.
You would get up in the morning the next day and you'd be like, oh my, jeez. You look at your hand and wonder where you are.
Oh my god, why I wasted so much time?
Like, that's herpes.
Writing this RPG for like 12 years, and it's just not. It just doesn't.
And Matt.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
just
I
me
mean, I've
slam
just-
dunking.
I just
Yeah.
watched some TV and did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you.
that fucking.
Well, he's adding it
Oh
to
my
it.
god.
He's adding
It's
it to a
it's not my
previous
own system. It's a hack.
you're right,
I
you're
am
right.
a hack. It is a hack.
Mine's a hack too. I all the rules are from the fucking Into the Odd SRD.
Yeah, but that hack
So-
also had to take a lot of hacking through lots of systems. You have got corpses of systems
I do have
behind you,
That's a good point.
Yeah, you-
hiding
I
in
do.
your closet
I do. I do.
or on my shelf.
Yes, Yes, I have. It's like I drive over. What I have done with some of the systems I have and have given you. It's kind of like some hick showing up to your door and be like, "I hit this roadkill on the way over, or you can fry it up. It's all yours for dinner." It's kind of what I did, but it was with books instead of. With
I thought it was more like a drawing and quartering, like Braveheart Mel Gibson kind of separate the body parts all different places.
Oh, that's cool. Like drawing and quartering.
So you're just like, this system doesn't work.
Yeah.
None shall know it, and I shall show them.
Yeah.
And you split it up. You're like, here's this book, here's this part.
I agree with that.
That's what, you know what? That's apt, because Into the Odd is the one system I have been heretofore unable to pull apart like
Nice.
a fucking like petals on a flower.
Yeah.
So that just ended up being the one I'm doing, I guess. Yeah, it's apt. I have killed many a system.
Yeah.
Some I regret, some I feel bad for, but
A lot
most I
of
don't.
sessions you stand up on the DM side and you're like, people, how did you enjoy last session? And all the people go, yay! Yeah, we love it! And you're holding up the session and you go,
You're wrong.
you are wrong! And I shall show you why. And then you just have it ripped apart in front of us.
God damn it.
He's like,
yeah.
Or
Dr.
sometimes
Evil.
you'll go and shove it back together in a different way and go, there, do you love him more now? And we go, yeah,
Yeah.
Eat it. I want you to eat it.
I just imagine Dr. Evil and he's just pushing buttons. They're all going through the chutes.
Oh, yeah, the shoots. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how the more, because this is not the first time this has come up, I like how the longer it's come along, the more you guys have been able to show your true feelings about what I've put you through as a DM, the more it's been like, oh no, yeah, it's okay, Jimmy, it's fine. And now it's like Dad killed the dog and made us eat the dog.
Yeah.
Like fucking
True.
Yeah. It's like we have a great, enjoyable time. And then the next day you come to us and you're like, you had a bad time, right? It was a bad time.
It was horrible. I hated it. It was terrible.
It was-
I'm like gaslighting.
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And we're like, oh yeah, no, I guess I didn't see how unfun that part was. You're right.
Yeah, I gaslight you, fucking. Yeah,
No.
maybe you know what? Maybe it's for the best then that like, because I'm just gonna be doing like once Trackmarks is out, something I've paid a lot of money to make. I spent a lot of time making something I'm making money for. I just stay with that, forever.
Well,
I corner myself into that shit and never do anything else.
It's just a symptom of it's a symptom of you running unfun systems to play really fun games.
Yeah.
Regardless of how a lot of times it felt for you to run or manage a game, the product felt awesome. Felt flawless. Cool. But I also know from being on the GM side when all the players are up to beat with kind of how you're keeping them on a thread, but meanwhile you're seeing like the system falling apart at the seams with how you're trying to push your budget with ideas.
It's just not working for you. It's not working with your flow. You're looking ahead and going, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like it could have worked this time, but it won't be sustainable in the future. I'll take that. I think that's giving me a lot more grace than I deserve in a lot of this. But
lost grace, like an Elden Ring reference.
Yeah. Hey, maidenless? Maidenless?
No maidens?
No maidens? But like, no, I think, dude, that's the story of like just RPGs in general, trying to just make a system work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the same story as all the people who try to shoehorn shit into D&D or whatever, but it's mostly because they're like, man, I want to do like anything else, but like I can't, or at least they feel like they can't. I think what it comes down to is that we are at least viewing this from it's a lot different when you're viewing it from like a designer perspective, when you're literally thinking about like, how do these rules work together? How do I want to do these rules? How are they going to add to the game experience? What kind of like when you're thinking about it from that perspective, I think you just tear through a lot of shit more because you're already too many steps ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good that Trackmarks is in a system that I can't be steps ahead because there's no fucking steps. The pages are 4 rules.
Mm-hmm.
The rules are 4 pages. Fuck.
Pages are 4
The pages are 4 rules. Pages are for rules. The rules are 4 pages.
Pages are for rules. And rules are for
This all sounds like I'm excusing myself. It's just like, fuck, man. I want to stick to something for a long time because I don't know what that feels like. That's why. I just want to stick to one thing that I did.
Have you been doing Burning Wheel though?
Huh?
You've been doing Burning Wheel for some time.
I've been doing that for a couple months. I still like. Sometimes I'm afraid to go back because I'm afraid to like kill it. It's like Lenny petting the rabbit too hard. Like I'm afraid to kill my favorite game, so I play it pretty sparingly.
Oh, now at one point you were like, I'm playing it any moment I can.
Oh no, yeah, like earlier in the podcast, I was running it like twice, 3 times a week.
Oh, I didn't know you kind of stopped the train.
Yeah, I stopped the train, I think a couple weeks after that.
So how long did you do it for? 2 months?
Yeah, I ran like 26 sessions in 2 months, I think it was.
Jesus.
And then I was just like, yeah, I'm going to stop for a second. I'm talking with my friend Trevor. We're going to be brainstorming a setting for use with Burning Wheel that we find really interesting. We're gonna for that GM-less Burning Wheel game I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna give that a shot. I think that's the next time we're gonna do it because in my Monday group we have like 3 or 4 people, including me, who are like super into Burning Wheel. So I think like who are super down with it, who are wheel sworn. Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna find a way to make that work. But we're gonna come up with a compelling setting and throw some shit together and see how that works out. I gotta actually message him. I just reminded myself.
I'll create a spite system against a Burning Wheel called Leaking Door.
Leaky Door?
Leaky Door.
Are there more? Are there more
leaky doors or
leaky
burning
doors
wheels?
or burning wheels?
Well, in my world, more doors.
More doors. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The counter to Burning Wheel, what would that be?
Give something to add, Matt. You're just looking pretty judgmental over there in silence.
What do you want me to say?
Your eyes are just continually rolling. Like I'm just seeing you. Seeing you follow along.
Wouldn't it be fucked up if we start? Like, let's assume we're getting money for this, and then I use a program to calculate out what percentage of the podcast people are speaking for, and that's how much you get paid.
I've had a lot. I've talked before. I mean,
you were talking a lot earlier. Yeah. No, fuck no press. We have a natural cadence. We're trying to, it's all natural and shit. It's I don't know why it's so natural to just fucking roast me every time, but it
feels good. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels great.
It's like kicking a puppy. It's so soft.
Your foot just goes right into it, no resistance. Yeah.
Horrible.
Truth is horrible.
But roasting is part of my game. It's a built-in mechanic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You should add momentum for roasting players at the table.
Oh no, yeah, that's tone check. Roasting friends to maintain a good impression.
No, I mean people at the table.
Oh, just actual players.
Yeah. That is hilarious, though, that you've mechanized the very specific social conceit, which is making others look bad to make yourself look good, even if they're your friends.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Well, really, also, it's not only that, but it's maintaining a level of casualness and relatability so that you can maintain a familiar, intimate relationship rather than having it be endangered by becoming too formal.
That's fucking... It's so... that interaction is so specific.
Yeah, and that's a keen talk shit chair.
Yeah. I think, like, fucking sociologists should fucking play your game.
What's
like,
wild about
your
this
game is
game...
a study on how humans work with each other.
Yeah, it's going to be horrible and completely wrong because I'm writing it from the perspective of being, like, literally psychopathic.
Yeah, a horribly flawed person.
Yeah.
Well, but you would need a horribly flawed psychopath in order to see all of these things, to
I see.
to intentionally think. No, that's not what I'm saying.
I agree.
What I mean, to
psychopath,
intentionally
man.
think, to not do it just offhand, but to intentionally think, oh, yes, if I insult my good friend here, like what you're doing to me right now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like what you've been doing to me this whole podcast so far. You keep putting me down to make yourself look better. You got your shitty little stream about some fucking stupid painting.
Hey,
and, you know, it's
it
like...
builds momentum for the general pool. You get points too, okay?
Oh, do I?
Yeah, that's
cool.
That's how the roast works.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Don't you
Yeah.
see that a roast is constantly
Remember,
building
I
momentum?
edit this, so I get threat.
Are you, gonna-
I get threat.
are you trying to have a Will Smith moment? You trying to set that up?
Man, but that's a purely visual. Well, until he gets down, it's like keep my wife's name out of your mouth. You know.
Yeah. That happened 6 months ago. You believe
Yeah, that did happen 6 months ago.
It's really hard for me to remember that. So many
In
things
a-
happen.
Yeah, that was wild. I can't
Yeah.
believe that happened 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gosh.
It feels like it was almost like last night, or no,
No?
2 nights ago. It almost feels like it was 2 nights ago.
That's oddly
Almost.
specific for 6 months ago.
Dude, finally watching Tigtone.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Tigtone
Yeah,
really
how
quick?
You can after on my unrelated note to the previous topic. Here's my lock screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's seamless. It's like a flip book.
Yeah.
Do you actually have...
I like how it's not even like a picture of like your girlfriend or
actually
anything
have
like
your-
that.
Oh no,
It's-
never is. It's something stupid.
Mine too.
Am I just like a boomer type? Do you actually have a...
Yeah.
I literally
I had that
never
picture-
added a background.
Oh my god.
I thought, is
And-
that a default background?
Yeah.
It looks good.
You're
Never felt like
sterile.
It looks really good.
For all the years I've had phones, I never felt like doing a background.
I think it looks good. There's
I'm just
nothing
wondering
wrong
if
with
I'm
that.
a psychopath.
My background is a
Maybe.
picture of, is a picture of Rob Halford I took when I saw Judas Priest.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
So-
I
I know people do that. I
Just-
just don't feel like it.
just saying
That's
that
fine.
I feel like people finding out that you've never changed the background on your phone, that sounds like the beginning of a Curb Your Enthusiasm problem.
Not a Sunny problem. 'Cause I don't know
No,
as much.
that'd be a Curb problem of people being like, he's never,
He never
changed his
changes it.
background.
Well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
I get what he's
I
saying.
like
'cause they'd
how
be like,
professional
No,
it looks.
I'm cool. I mean, I just don't use my phone. I use other things.
You know what I
And they're
miss?
Like, what do you do?
At work, I used to have an artist rendition of Rivendell as my background. That was really fucking tight. And then I don't know, something happened and our system got updated and stuff, and now I can't even put like a background on it anymore. It's just like, man,
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah.
Until they putting backgrounds on things, but
I
it's
like-
fine if you don't. It looks
I
sleek
do
as
on my
hell.
computer, but like, I'm like, why do I care about backgrounds? That's like, I don't play games on my phone.
I wish you wouldn't
Right.
do it on your computer in the
I've
manner
never
that
played
you do
games
it.
on my phone, even
How
when I
does
was in
he
high
do
school.
it?
Matt has he'll have one folder for where he keeps all his downloads, and that's also the folder for the slideshow that appears for his
I
screensaver.
haven't done that.
So
'cause
he
I
has
have a
he has
computer.
pictures of like fine art from philosophy books and grand things from like different artists mixed in with receipts and and like
I
invoices
should do that again.
and then like bad taste memes that were like funny for one moment but then are just recycled for months on his desktop.
Oh, I don't even know what meme I had there.
What is so?
Yeah, the
how
bunny
much is in this
memes.
folder? how much is in this folder? If you
Not enough. That's another problem.
It's like
It's only
5.
like 10 things, so
5
you
or 6.
quickly see it. Cycle through.
Now I do think you're a psychopath.
Actually, I don't have that anymore, but in my last computer I did.
This is
I
how he
just got a new
treats
computer.
music a lot of times too. He'll have Spotify, just whatever you use on shuffle, and so you get like heavy metal, and then you'll have Christmas music coming right afterwards,
Merry Christmas, yeah.
and then funk.
I'm like an all genre man.
Yeah,
I'm not.
He's
I
just
like
versatile.
I like moods, but I'm all genre.
Yeah, you don't need a set setting,
Yeah.
a set feeling.
I'm a lot of genres too, but not all at once.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
you
have
gotta-
like
I can't- I'm
opera,
gonna get
metal,
whiplash,
and country,
you know?
all in 3 different times.
Fuck.
In the span of like 5 minutes.
That's brutal, man.
I'm
That's
fine
some
with that.
whiplash.
I like because I like the human experience in general. I don't like. I mean,
Well,
I get
yeah,
moods,
but not all at fucking once. Like if I sit down to listen to music, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick this album and listen to this, or I'm gonna pick this genre and I'm gonna listen to this.
Well, that's you notice that I get on a Bandcamp. It's like it's funk and death metal.
You buy some great shit on Bandcamp.
I've been getting funk and death metal.
Yeah, you got that new Hath record.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
fucking
I just
amazing.
saw it on a like it seemed like it was floating around, so I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that one's been making the rounds. Like,
Because then
whoa.
when you talked about the other band, I got that their World War One. This one,
yeah, fucking, I always forget how they're. Yeah,
they're the
it's
German.
Yeah, it's some German shit.
But then yeah, I got this
The dude with the cannon
soul
on it.
music, funk, then metal. I don't know, death metal, I guess.
Yeah,
And then death metal, and then something the music.
they have
stuff.
they
Funk,
have some
funk,
good.
funk.
There's some good like indie soul and funk on Bandcamp too.
Old gospel soul.
That fucking rocks.
Yeah, it's either funk or death metal.
I've been buying so much Memphis rap to listen to during track marks and stuff. I fucking and this isn't as much of a stunt as it sounds because I buy so much Dungeon synth and
You
those
do.
albums are like $1.
I
and
see
shit like
all
that.
of those.
Yeah, you get to be
It's just-
inundated with my feed. I'm almost at 37 days of music,
That makes sense.
which is crazy. But I that would be crazy if it weren't for the fact that it was like also a bunch of like, oh yeah, here's a Dungeon synth compilation. This artist like selling all this shit for like $2, and it's like,
yeah,
oh,
that's what
okay.
you said
Yeah.
before. That's why. Yeah, I have.
I love
I
Dungeon
have
synth,
one
man.
30 albums of this anime upbeat music, city pop music. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like it was like
Oh,
$5
it was
for
that
like
whole
30 of those.
discography. It was
Yeah, I was
all
like,
of it,
I don't know.
yeah.
Because it was like I don't know, it was like $5-10 or something.
I use
It's like 30. It's like forwarded song.
I use a lot of like Dungeon synth stuff during games. You use a lot of music during games.
He likes soundtracks.
Always have.
Yeah, he likes
Yeah.
emotional soundtracks.
He uses movie soundtracks, but he does it in a way that it's like
Loud.
eerily timed
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and loud. But it's like you
Yeah.
know, it's like the music just so happens to time perfectly with his narration. It's
I
always
think
so
he
fucking
just likes
tight.
the idea of the yelling.
Yeah.
So he likes his music really loud.
Well, like just yelling.
Why do you
over
think
it.
I built a game based around yelling?
What, Star Trek?
No.
You just write a script.
Oh, that game.
Write
yeah.
a script that when you're playing music during the game, it's slow. Like you start the music at 20%, and it's slowly over the course of the game
making
pushes
a
up to
shout.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all just start naturally
to shout.
shouting and not realizing
Well,
how loud the music is.
What's interesting about this is it actually works counterintuitive to how I've always used music in role playing games. If you would do it true to how a sitcom or a show works, then music only plays during transitions.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Quiets
Right.
down during the scene, or you might have music come in midway through a scene. But
Uh-huh.
there's always a quiet space during the actual scene.
Yeah. Unless it's emotional.
So I might
Oh.
be interested with playing around with that same sort of mechanism.
Fu-
And having music being a good the transition of music being a great space for the actual stepping back and writer's rooming in next scene
Tone change.
and tone changing.
Mech,
Yeah.
you should, we were talking about maybe including the theme that you picked because it's public domain with the
Yeah.
download for the game. What you should also do is add mechanics for if somebody has a soundtrack laugh board.
Oh, yeah.
Have a laugh track soundboard.
Yeah.
Laugh track soundboard. Ugh. That'd be fucking funny. You actually have mechanics. It's like, okay, yeah, if somebody presses this button and the laugh happens, this is what happens.
Well, I was going to be playing like there's
Silence one.
10 hours of occasional silence broken up by sitcom laugh tracks.
I love it.
You'll,
This comes
you'll
at
do the
random
most basic
times.
thing and he'll laugh at it.
So
Yeah,
there's
it was like-
literally
Yeah.
literally no control over when
Yes!
it happens.
Yeah.
Which is just I think is
It'll
going to be
happen,
funny.
yeah, because it's occasional. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's see.
That's fucking
I think
cool, man.
It'll work pretty well. You'll just laugh at like the weirdest times.
I like
It'll
that.
probably
I'm
be-
excited. That sounds good.
It'll
I like
happen
that a
so
lot.
often. If you play it enough, it'll happen just we're in perfect timing too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But
that's genius. I like that. That'll be a lot of fun to play around with.
yeah, because I mean, because with music, because you said you got more back into the music when you're DMing. Because I think for a while you were just pretty quiet.
Yeah, when I was running Delta Green, I definitely got more into it. I think it helps to find for me for Casey it's selected soundtracks for me. It's like genres. So it's like when I'm running like classic fantasy, like OD&D stuff, throw on a bunch of Dungeon Synth. When I'm running Delta Green, it's like Vatican Shadow, Filmmaker, it's like some electronic ambient, some dark ambient, shit like that. And then for track marks, it's going to be pretty much, I have a 20 hours of like Memphis rap to play during that. So for me, it is like, just because I don't usually want to have to I don't think in music the same way Casey does. Mm-hmm. So it does kind of have to be all thrown together and in the background to establish a mood. But Delta Green was the farthest I got because I was like switching it up based on the mood.
Yeah. Yeah, you were. That was cool.
It was cool. And I will be doing that again. I wrote it into the odd hack to run Delta Green shit in. And I've got all those operations that I still want to run. The Observer Effect, I am still pining to run that. The next time I run Delta Green, or the next time I run the hack that I'm going to be running Delta Green stuff in, it's going to be the Observer Effect. This shit is crazy. I can't spoil literally any of it, but if anybody's listening who's read that, they know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yep. There you are.
There they are.
Good for you, I guess. I don't know.
Don't you feel superior?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they should. They should also feel superior for being one of the 4 people who listen. I can't. I need to re-upload.
This
all
is
these
for
YouTube
me later.
stuff
Hi.
Hi.
I'll say hi.
Hi.
Later.
Hi, future me. Yeah, you editing this podcast? Oh no, did somebody say something bad? Not even a bleep's gonna fix it. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. I know. She'll get it. You're almost there. You're at 46 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know where to edit.
That's still 14 more minutes to fill, and I've got no idea.
Well, so I was gonna say the idea of music for Casey is emotional beats, like in TV shows. Well, for music is like ambience for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like mood
it's
setting.
An ambient feel, but it's not much like swaying. It's just a overall feel.
It's. I think Casey's is interesting in that he can use the music to affect people in the way he wants. I just use music that best like reflects how the player's going to feel. Yeah. Like if there's combat, I want the music to be frenetic and stuff, but I don't want to have to hand pick shit because I don't have the time. I barely prepare for my games as it is, which I'm trying to change.
No.
But like, so let alone have time to pick soundtracks out for it. Like,
I mean, I like music definitely for the emotional beats. I think I have the similar. Yeah. I have a similar thing for like Casey. It's just like, I think it just feels more impactful when the music's with you.
Yeah.
Like combat too. Like we've been playing other games where I'm just like, I want to take control of the music. I don't need to, but I want to because it's just like there's so much just dead air.
You should ask.
Yep.
Why not ask?
I usually do it, but then they want to take their own control. So I'm like, okay.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, what happens is people are like, no, I got the music because I already have like I know I want to use one song during this one thing. And that's it. That's it.
You can't pick a half measure. You can't be like,
no more half measures.
No more half measures, Walt. No more half measures, Walt.
Because I mean, I try to be respectful. I don't play it super loud.
Yeah,
I'm trying to fit the mood of where it is. Someone's trying to do something like individual, then I want it to be like a song that memorizes the individuality of the moment.
Yeah,
but I don't want you ever have to yell from it.
I feel like it almost has to be all or nothing. Like you either have to have like a hand curated soundtrack or you have like ambient stuff. The moment you're trying to switch back and forth, because I've done the stuff where you're trying to switch back and forth between hand-picked tracks and then ambience and stuff, and it's really, really difficult.
I think
like,
as a DM,
really
it's much
harder. Well, that's why I only do it once in the beginning of Star Trek.
Yep.
For every episode.
Yeah, that's different.
I'm only switching from the main theme then to a select soundtrack.
You did do it a lot in Ravenloft.
Oh,
there were certain songs you came back to that were kind of that became kind of leitmotifs of the. Now, whenever I hear those in like the actual movies or stuff they're from, I don't even think about the movie.
I always did Mississippi Noir from the Venture Bros.
Yeah,
yep.
Whenever it was my turn, because I just love that like as the concept.
It was good.
The tone of it.
It was so good. The music, your music selection really does elevate things, Casey, and I do want to get. I think everyone should, even if you're not going to get to that level of almost like pseudo scripting your fucking stuff, you can at least put some effort in and find some good ambience. You know, yeah. I'm probably gonna switch between like chill hop and Memphis rap, so it's like chill hop while people are like going around town or hanging out and stuff or resting at a quick noodle or whatever, and then kick that shit up once maybe put on some boom bap for some particular like intense scenes and shit like that.
Well, it's just
it's
tracks too, normal and then combat. Usually that's all you have to do.
I think there's 3 steps. There's normal and then tension and then combat.
Okay, yeah. I see
so it's like normal. It's like some easy listening. It's not even there. The tension. It's like. same thing where it really easily fades in the background, but it gets everybody a little on edge. Like, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of
I would agree.
there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a throb, a
Yeah.
little bit of thing going. The combat music should always be not like overwhelming, but you know it's here.
It's
something
more
that you like
intense.
listening to between turns and shit like that.
I think it helps a lot because without ambience, it's just like we're just sitting in a room and just staring at each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're like,
Yep.
whose turn is it?
Whose
Okay?
turn? Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, I just like when music is tension filled because then it's just like, yeah, you yourself are like getting up and paying attention more.
Yeah.
That's why I've always liked music for the games I've used. I just try to I try to use music that like gets people not like more invested.
And then
I agree.
the music for this game is the most exciting thing because of one of, like I said,
Curb.
maybe how I use it differently for scenes changes. But not only that, but all of the rules are different.
Yeah.
Because with comedy, you want to be playing in really intense things for things that are really trivial. Extremely like almost circus lackadaisical things for moments that are actually very serious. There's a whole lot of room to play.
Well, we were
around
talking
with.
about that when you were showing me music before, when I
Audio-wise.
came over last and you were narrating a very mundane thing with sinister music in the background. It's almost like the same thing where that random laugh track will recontextualize things. Going into a scene that would normally be whatever, but then playing some sinister music will make everybody act
Right,
completely
like the
differently.
people who re-edit trailers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Those
like
are
that.
always great. Yeah, literally just music. Music's super important.
That rocks.
It completely changes context, just how we're built.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The movies
Sometimes
are-
the music going the wrong way works the best way. I've
True.
had that happen a lot of time with Ravenloft. Where I'm like, oh, this isn't the track I wanted.
I'll
Ooh,
keep
but this
it.
is this is a different tone
Yeah,
than
but I
thought.
like this track. Yeah.
Yeah.
And suddenly, because the tone is different, I'm thinking because I'm in that character's head, actively engaged with another player, and in a different tone than what I originally thought of it as.
Yeah.
So the role play comes out differently. The product.
Yeah.
It's all about finding, and I think this is true with role-playing games in general, because on one hand, you can't prep for everything. You're going to end up improvising. But on the other hand, you still obviously have to do the work. But there are things that you can't necessarily do the work for that require that amount of work, which is where things that give you sparks come in handy, like random encounter tables in OD&D or musical prompts or like just things that you I backed the reprint they're doing of Tome of Adventure Design, which I think is one of the coolest fucking RPG products out there. And they're adding something on the margins of the page. They're literally adding like on each page, there's like 600 pages of random tables, and on each page there's like 30 fucking just one line just like prompts, like saying like the floor is lava
That's
or something
awesome.
like that. So you just
I love
open the
that.
book and go, there we go, juices are flowing. Like you need those things that bridge that gap between the work you have to do and the improv you're inevitably going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tome of Adventure Design's cool.
Because that's the
It
same.
does sound
That's like a
cool.
music for writing or something.
Yep.
I mean, there's some people. I think I've heard there's like one musician I listened on YouTube or something, and he talks about he doesn't listen to music while doing things, but that's someone who goes to Berkeley, and Adam Neely, who is like, listening to music would be work because he's like literally stripping it of all its atoms every second. But like, for the normal people that don't have music, it's so much like a prompt or something that just gets you going. Like a song gives you such an emotional beat where you can like think of a scenario where it's used for.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting.
It is really it's interesting figuring out. I mean, it's basically an exercise in. I don't think very often, except in like very specific game design terms, do people talk about the psychology that goes into a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things, like figuring out how the brain works so you can best optimize your performance at the table. Like what are some ways, like music being like one of those things that clearly that like affects people in a very psychic way at the table that completely elevates the game.
Well, like you're saying, it's like the prompt thing, because it's like what gets you really into like fantasy, reading fantasy. Like what it gets your juices going, because if you read so much fantasy, you're in it. So you'll obviously just subconsciously get all the beats you're looking for.
I will say, and this is kind of a corollary. Yeah, there it is.
Colonoscopy.
Corollary. It's kind of a colostomy to it.
Kind of like colostomy. Corollary. Culinary.
Culinary. This is a culinary.
Colonoscopy.
That.
Colonoscopy.
Yep, colonoscopy. But fucking
in Coronation 2.
Coronation.
We're gonna make him lose his
Coronation
thought.
2.
He's gonna lose his thought.
Yeah.
He's very coordinated.
Coordinated too.
Losing my
I'm totally gonna lose my fucking thought.
All right, say it quickly before I come up with something new.
I think when you're writing, if you're a guy who's writing like fantasy stuff, you're like, well, obviously I need to read fantasy novels in order to write the fantasy stuff. And like, that is true, but it's like, I think the way I went is it's like the stuff that I just naturally consume has found its way into the game. So like track marks is a representation of, and I can see, I list them at the beginning. The music I listened to, the movies I've watched, the concepts I had. It's like, instead of going the way where it's like, oh, I'm going to write fantasy, so I'm going to read fantasy. It's like, I'm going to write something about the media that I just organically consume.
Right.
And I think that's what does end up making it more interesting, because I could have, and that's probably why Trackmarks hasn't worked up until this point, because I kept taking shit that was like, oh, this is very much its own thing, and I need to jam it into traditional fantasy RPGs, and I make it D&D like, or I need to make it like another game. But it's like, no, I picked a system now that facilitated whatever it was, whatever it happened to be. And now that's why I'm so excited about the art, is because I got to finally take all of this out of my fucking head and show someone exactly what I mean.
How you feel
when I'm talking about all this, how I feel.
Makes sense. Yeah. Really conceptualizing it.
Yeah. Which the more I talk about it, I might ask to run track marks tomorrow, because it will be the last playtest.
Ooh.
Get it on that ground floor. Because it'll literally be like, the rules are done. So I think what I would do, and I've been listing people's names in the fucking playlist thing. I have a paragraph of like a block of names of everyone over 12 years who's played this shit. So maybe we take one more shot at it. Maybe we sit down and say, hey, speak now or forever hold your peace, and then
maybe
done.
If we also do testing out character creation for Curb.
Yeah, we can do that. Trackmarks takes like 2 hours.
Yeah, and that would take just a few minutes to just start testing out. Like,
we'd probably want it to take longer than that.
Yeah, maybe
take our sweet time just to like really think things out and talk things out. Because this is the last playtest for a polished product. This is going to be the first playtest for a product you just made.
Yeah, but it's also, the idea wouldn't be functionally what it would be like in how I write a pitch, where the idea is coming together, making a cast of characters that balance out with how things you want to explore. What I would want to be doing is simply just like throwing character concepts at it and seeing if we can crank them out.
Yeah,
throughout the system. And then if there's holes where it's like, these options aren't perfectly getting the picture of this character archetype that someone would want to play, then I'd be able to augment some stuff. It's be trying to break character creation in a sense.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Especially with like we talked about. I don't know if it was on or off record. Like your game, Duty 20 being like Burning Wheel, in that you get the most out of it by trying your hardest to optimize in it. Yeah. That's definitely a game you want to try to see whether it breaks or not, because you don't want it to, or do want it to, but in very specific ways.
Yeah.
Tomorrow sounds like it's just workshop day.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
We have so much fucking momentum in between all of us. I was putting together Kill Team figures this Monday. I'm working on a video game with someone else. Like, I already said all this, but it's just like the fucking momentum, man. I love it. I love all the creative juices flowing.
Are you like scheduling time for all that? Like specifically every week?
No, not quite. So up until this point, a lot of my stuff is everything has either been stuff I'm doing and I can do whenever I feel like it, or it's been stuff that it's like we've maybe had a couple impromptu things, but they aren't at a point where things need to be scheduled yet. Except for the video game that I aforementioned, because we actually do have a scheduled work day for it, and it's our first like official story work day.
That's what I was sounding like for that kind of thing, where it's like a very much of a collective project.
They are, and it's like it's a text-based game, so it's not that bad.
It's easy. It's super easy.
It's not easy.
Oh well, that's what I thought you were saying. Oh yeah, okay.
One programmer can do it though. I'm just coming in to help generate like content, but But I mean, basically, it's like everything has to incubate in its own time, and whether that's a couple months or 12 years or 2 weeks in Casey's case, just shitting out fucking eggs, golden goose eggs, shitting them out.
I mean, I'm just watching
And
episodes. I'm at the point where I'm adding stuff to my chart that you can do in the game that I'm concerned at people being like, why did you add this? So I'm having to actually put references to the episodes I'm taking stuff from.
That's what Ben told me to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like using hard drugs without hard consequences. It's a vigor fad shit check. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I love that. I definitely don't think you
Avoid
need
getting
to-
unnecessarily aroused.
What? You're pausing. Yeah.
Curb Your
Are you
Enthusiasm.
saying I'm aroused right now?
No, I'm saying that's a check, though. That's an important thing to have in my game.
That's good. No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's check I'd fail all the time.
But in terms of people being like,
I'm like a soap
why
dispenser,
would that be? Why would that be an important
yeah?
thing to have in the game? And I'm like, see this episode.
Yeah. Are you actually putting the episode references in footnotes?
Yeah,
or-
at the moment I am, just mostly so I can also keep track of where my thoughts are.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would say definitely keep that, but then keep like a director's cut version, but right for publication, maybe you want to get rid of them so that you don't get sued. If that's a thing, I don't know. Can they sue them? Can he sue them for that?
Oh, all I do is just have the acronyms, like I have CUE and ASIP, and then I define those acronyms as completely different things.
There was a fucking one of my favorite tabletop role playing games, which was done by Black Dog, which was White Wolf's like adult subsidiary,
Yeah.
Human Occupied Landfill. They wrote the game in 3 days. It was literally 2 dudes and the artist was also the writer. He literally just had like a sketchbook and was handwriting. There's things that are scratched out
Wow.
because they didn't work and stuff. And a chapter opens, and the chapter is opening with them talking about how they're currently sitting in an IHOP at like 3 a.m. and their waitress signed it and said, "Thanks for coming to IHOP," and then signed it. And then they added like a note on the side that said, "Please, for copyright reasons, for legal reasons, please understand that the proper response to what the waitress wrote, it's not a restaurant name. The proper response is, 'Oh, nice. Do you swim too?'" And so it's like, yeah. No, she's saying, "IHOP.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. IHOP.
Oh, nice. Do you swim too?
Do you swim too? Nice, yeah." So they actually had their waitress fucking sign their rule book, like
That's
in
cool.
the fucking diner. It's pretty tight. That book's really tight. Human Occupied Landfill is really cool.
That's cool.
They describe damage with a pain scale, and I think one of the maximum ones. It's not the top one, but it's like sliding down a 10-foot greased razor blade.
Damn.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty.
Wouldn't that actually not be very hurting? I mean, afterwards it would be.
I
but
guess it
it's
depends.
so sharp.
That's a good point.
Depends on what's left.
Yeah, it's so sharp.
Depends on what's left.
It actually wouldn't feel it immediately. You just feel like an opening in yourself. You know?
You probably wouldn't feel much near the end of it, too.
Right. If it gets you right. But if you bleed out pretty fast, you probably would feel that.
All right. Are you a doctor?
No, I hop.
I